So I'm working on this painting. This is, I did an oil sketch, and then I did I let it dry, and then did some layering on top, gel mediums and other mediums. And then I'm doing the last details with acrylic. One of the reasons why I do this is because I did oils for a long time, but you need a very specific studio. And if you don't have good ventilation, of course you don't want to do oils. And then also, because I work so fast and I like to keep that like really loose, fast look, I like just the oils just take too long to dry, and so I have to wait literally like 9 months, sometimes 6 months, to like do the next layer. I'm just like, I can't do that, man. I work too fast. And I like to work fast because there's, because I've been studying painting since I was 2 years old. And I learned from my grandmother. And then I went to school and I learned all the classics. And then I studied literally like freaking every painter on the planet, dude. There's just like very few people that I didn't study. And I learned, one of my favorites was John Singer Sargent, because when I went to go see him at the museum, one of the things that I learned was that he was like, he was incredible, but he was basically did everything with one stroke, one paintbrush. And then he would keep it. And see, that takes a master to do that. So I learned how to tap into that by saying, okay, Martha, I want you to do the one hit, like the one hit master movement. That is, he taught his students, don't go over your brush stroke, dude. Like, just commit to the brushstroke. If the brushstroke is there, why are you gonna doubt yourself? Doubt yourself. So second guess yourself. So that was really hard for me for a long time. I just like worked and overworked and just did it. And I was like, God, every time I overworked a painting, I was like, Martha, stop second guessing yourself. And so hard to learn this because when nature plants a tree, it doesn't say, oh, I made a mistake with the tree. Oh, I put the tree in the wrong place. Nature doesn't do that. It does the tree, and it just is happy with its creation. And it's humans that are like, oh, I messed up. Oh, I could have done better. Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize for my creativity. Or whatever it is that humans are going through. Humans have that kind of like second guessing yourself, right? They just don't think they're good enough. They don't think they're worthy enough, or whatever it is that's going on. And so right now, I'm waking up and having a coffee, and I'm going to listen to an audiobook and go through my process, because I like to listen to audiobooks while I'm painting. We're sitting there for hours doing this stuff. You got to have something that is stimulating both sides of the brain. That's where, like, I know also Leonardo da Vinci studied that, and I studied him. He did self-educo system. It means he just got very curious about everything and learned about everything, you know, in his studio. And this self-educo, meaning when I started doing a book a day, that was pretty revolutionary, because I basically got like a Princeton, Harvard education, just sitting there painting. And now with chat, it's pretty intense, because you can really get into the fine details of everything. Autobiographies and stuff, but with the audiobook, it's very concise. So, yeah, so this painting is the dancing ballerinas. It's like, I've already been on this painting like 7 months. Like I said, I started it with oil, and right now I'm just doing the last minute details. I like to put India ink on at the last, and then hit the highlights with the drips, because like I said, when I was working, like trying to figure out my style, and I was like, what did singer Sargent do? I want to do that. And like I said, he did the one hit master, and he taught that, like, don't go over your stuff, man. The same thing in any creative thing. There's something about the mistake that is perfect. Like that right there, it's just like a weird little shing, but it could be like a puff behind the dress. It could be a bow, but like painting over and over and over and over is eventually covers up the genius. The genius comes out when you study really, really, really hard and then let it flow. It's the same thing as the 10,000 hour rule, you know. You just become, you know, like a pilot studies how to fly. You have a certain amount of hours that you have to apply, and then you can really fly. And then they're like, wow, that pilot's a genius, right? So it takes the magic out of it, and that's what happens when you study. And if you want to be a painter, you got to study painters. You study their life. Most painters died like in their late 20s, 40s, 50s of plagues, crazy stuff. They never got to really fulfill their destiny. As far as painters, you know, maybe 1 or 2 masterpieces. And it's frustrating because painting isn't as glamorous as people think. My grandma used to say it's hard work. And people were like, oh, it's so magical, you're so gifted. She's like, there's nothing gifted about it. It's hard work, you know. And that was grandma. And she was a realist. She was very grounded. She taught me how to be grounded. And she taught me how to paint at a very early age. And then, okay, so when one of my great mentors was John Singer Sargent, and one of the things he painted in oil, which, like I said before, I don't have, because my style is so fast, so modern, I don't have the time, the patience, or the place to do oils all the time. I have, and I do. I always have 1 or 2 oil paintings going on. Like I said, they dry slow. So this is just like a 10-minute video of doing stuff, talking about it, and I'll do a couple other ones. This face is so lovely, you know. See, it's just one brush stroke of a contour. But if I paint and paint and paint over this, I'm gonna lose that really fine detailed. Now I can have a couple of highlights there. I'll show you. And I put the paint on the canvas, partially because I don't want to walk around with a palette. I just dropped that a long time ago because I work so fast, and I mix my colors on the canvas again because I'm not looking for perfection. Okay, I'm looking for that one hit, like genius, right? That one line. So here I'm going to keep this beautiful profile because it's very gentle, you know, it's very expressive. But then I'm just going to hit it with a couple highlights, and this fleshes it out a little bit more. In my painting, I'm not going for that perfect skin tone. I've done that before where you do gray underneath and then you do all these mattes and on top of it, stuff like that. And in some ways it can be cool, you know, the perfect skin tone. But like something like this that is more contemporary and modern, and still holding some of the classical things. I'm not doing the exact skin tones. So throwing in just a few little highlights will actually bring this figure out. The John Singer Sargent one-hit wonder means, like, I studied this for like years. Oh my God. I was like, I am gonna figure out what John did. And so yeah, the one-hit wonder, the OneHitMaster. And then from there, the body and the mind, and you know, the mind figures out. I don't have to paint every little tiny little detail. If you blur your eyes, the figure comes through. And so this is kind of in layers, but not overworking, right? So these are the things that I gleaned from John Singer Sargent. And I put some plastic down on the floor because I do a lot of drops of, you know, I do a lot of drips. And this, I don't like some of these, something this big, it's like, I just don't want to put it on an easel. So I'll do it right on the wall. And it works because a lot of art doesn't get done because people are waiting like for the perfect studio, the perfect moment, the perfect this, the perfect that. But, you know, nothing is ever perfect. There's no perfect time. You either do it or you don't. Same thing with anything, you know. And so that's, if there's a wall, like right now I don't have all the paints that I need. And then it just like will work with what you have. Same thing with like your body. You don't have the perfect body that you want. Will work with what you have. You don't have the perfect house, perfect children, perfect whatever you think needs to be perfect. Nothing is ever perfect. And so art is actually a celebration of imperfection, because in the imperfection is the expression. Expression and freedom of expression never comes from perfection. It always comes, this is just a series of mistakes that creates a masterpiece. Yeah. Okay, that is vlog of the day.